To infinity and beyond. I think that's how William Shatner would say the word beyond. If he narrated the title of this trailer, it would be like, Star Trek Beyond. That's a horrible impression. I apologize to everybody watching this video. Star Trek Beyond is directed by Justin Lin and stars the original cast from the previous two films, and we have new additions including Sofia Boutella and Idris Elba. In this film, during the 5-year mission, something happens, they crash on this planet, they get separated, they have to find their way, and then they have to deal with this villain Karl, played by Idris Elba, who has a mission to destroy the Federation because of stuff that goes on with him. And that's all I'm going to tell you going into this movie. I've been really excited for this movie because I love the last two films of this rebooted franchise. The one from 2009 is one of my favorite films of all time. It's one of my favorite films of the last 10 years. Like, it got me into Star Trek, and I really like it. And I enjoyed Into Darkness quite a bit. I rewatched this one and the 2009 film yesterday before I went to go see this movie last night. And I can tell you that I love this one when I saw it in the theater. My love for it kind of went down a little bit, but I still think this is a damn good movie. When they announced Justin Lin was going to be taking the helm because he directed some of the best Fast and Furious films, particularly Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6, he's the guy that basically got the franchise on a pathness towards greatness. So when they announced he was going to be directing a Star Trek film, I'm like, okay, this could be very, very cool. And how's this movie? I kind of loved it. I had a blast with Star Trek Beyond. This movie was so much fun. This is what I call pure summer fun. It's fast-paced, it's entertaining, it's enjoyable. It feels like a small movie in the big movie because this is definitely the most Star Trek-y out of all the three films, and that's what Simon Pegg said, because Simon Pegg not only stars in this film as Scotty, but he also co-wrote the script. And the writing in this movie, I'm going to start with the writing. The writing is great. It's great writing, and there's nice homages to the original series, which is going to make true Trekkies proud. Like, I'm not a huge Trekkie. I have an uncle that's a huge Trekkie, and I have another uncle that's a huge Trekkie, and I know a few people who love Star Trek, so they're going to be happy when they go into this movie and see it, because they're going to be like, oh my god, there's so many homages to the original series, it's fantastic, and another series that I'm not going to spoil. Justin Lin did a great job directing this movie. There's a lot of great character moments in this movie, which was my favorite aspect of the whole film. All the moments between the characters, particularly with Kirk, because he's trying to wonder why he joined Starfleet. Why he did this. Is he trying to live up to his father's legacy, or does he not fit into Starfleet? Like, he's just wondering, he's just questioning himself, and I love that aspect of this movie. The action was also very well done. There wasn't as much action in this movie as I thought there would be, because in the trailers they showcased a lot of action, which got me a little worried, but I was still excited for this movie going into it, and the action was very, very well done. There was only one sequence that took place on the Enterprise that I didn't think was well done. Maybe because I saw the movie in IMAX 3D. By the way, the 3D is fantastic. I saw this in IMAX. Best way to see this movie. It was totally worth the extra $5-6 because the movie was so enjoyable to me. How is the acting? Everyone jumps back to their roles. Chris Pine is fantastic as Captain Kirk. When you compare this film to the first two films, you're like, oh, that's just Chris Pine. Now he's Captain Kirk. And he has a lot of Shatner-isms in this movie, which is awesome. Zachary Quinto, great as Spock. There's a nice homage to Leonard Nimoy in this movie too, which I should bring up. So that was very nice. Karl Urban as Bones. Easily the scene stealer of the whole film. He got a lot of the comedy moments. His back and forth with Spock was so interesting and so unexpected, and it worked out so well. It kind of felt like a nice little sitcom, and it worked out so well. It felt like The Odd Couple. Zoe Saldana, great. John Cho, great. Simon Pegg, great. And the late, great Anton Yelchin. Fantastic, of course. It's sad that Chekhov is the Enterprise crew member that has the least amount of stuff to do in this movie. That's kind of the sad thing, but it's a great character, and they honor Anton Yelchin at the end of the film, which really got me happy. I loved Anton Yelchin, and I'm still heartbroken by his passing. This movie is also faster paced than the last one, because I felt like Into Darkness was a little slow burn. Like, the one from 2009 is really fast paced. Into Darkness, kind of a slow burn, has some fast moments. This movie was fast from beginning to end. I was never bored during one moment of this movie, and that's the good thing whenever you go see a movie like Star Trek or Star Wars and stuff. And it felt like a different movie too. Like, Justin Lin wasn't trying to rip off J.J. Abrams, and people were like, why didn't J.J. Abrams direct this? Well, he was busy working on The Force Awakens, so he couldn't direct this movie, and I'm happy Justin Lin directed it, because I like that he got to showcase more of his talent, because some people were like, oh, why is the guy who made Fast and Furious directing this? He could just do action movies and stuff. He showed us that he could do a Star Trek movie. I hope he could go back to doing the smaller film. I always wanted to see him do something really, really small. And people are going to ask me this, how is Idris Elba? I love Idris Elba. This has been a good year for him with the movies that he's been in. Zootopia, Jungle Book, and Finding Dory. This one, his performance is fantastic as Karl. The character was fine, but once you get to the third act, you understand his motivations. You're like, oh shit. Okay, I like this a lot. Overall, I pretty much love Star Trek Beyond. I was not let down. I had a few problems with it, particularly with the action sequences, the way they were filmed, and some of the motivations of Karl with the first 2 acts of him, but then in the third act, everything just got better. Everything turned from alright to great. And I forgot to mention, Jayla, played by Sofia Boutella from Kingsman, she was awesome. She was a great character. I loved her very much. The makeup was cool on her. I loved this movie. I'm going to give it an A-. Guys, tell me what you thought of this movie if you saw it. What do you think of the first 2 Star Trek films? Are you excited to see this one? Thank you so much for watching. Rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy, and rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. You two are both fantastic. Anton Yelchin, you were too young. Leonard Nimoy, you're an iconic legend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, thank you so much for watching this review, and I'll see you guys soon.